The myth of work-life balance, right? Here's what I wished I'd known when I started my business, is I thought that I had to master this work-life balance thing that everyone told me about. Hey, my name's Chaz Wilson, president and founder of Master Networks, Blue 42 Agency, and Wilson Leadership Coaching. Let me share with you my journey on how I've come to understand work-life balance and why I think it's a myth. First and foremost, what I'll tell you right at the beginning is that I just think it's a myth because I actually don't think there's this work thing and then this life thing. They are married together. They are one thing. And I think that was the part I struggled with for so long. It was like a pendulum. Like one thing would swing really hard into work and then I'd have to spend a lot of time over with family just to keep those things balanced. We had 5 children in 7 years. I just started this company. How do I balance and maintain that? And you know, for a long time I was not very good at it because I was listening to what everyone else was telling me how to do it, right? You need to do it this way, you need to do it that way. Just plug into your business and just put your head down and then in 20 years you'll be able to enjoy your family, whatever, all the things that I heard. That just didn't work for me. It didn't work for our family. It didn't work for the way I wanted to live my life. And so the first kind of piece of advice in work-life balance is just do what works for you. Because when you try to do what everyone else is putting you in a box to do, it just doesn't work, and it didn't for me. What I really grew to understand is it didn't matter what level of success I achieved if I failed at home. It just didn't matter. That's what was happening. I was spending all this time working, and I would go home, and it's like my kids didn't know me. My wife was like, where have you been all week kind of thing? Because I was just plugging away, justifying to myself that I was doing it for them. So I want to tell you about 2 quick things. My wife was working as a nurse and I'm working on starting this business. And I remember we would get up early. She would go to work. She started her shift at 7 a.m. And maybe you can relate to this. There was not a daycare that would take all 5 of our kids. So I had somebody that would watch the 2 twins and I'd drop them off and then I'd run over to another place and they would take 2 of my children and then another one over here. And it's like, I'm running to 3 different daycares in the morning. Takes me an hour to drop them all off, finally get to the office. Then at the end of the day, I'd have to leave by 4 because by 5 p.m. they all had to be picked up. And I remember one of the first days that I did that, I get a phone call from one of the daycare providers saying, where are you? Where are you at? I'm like, I'm coming, I'm on my way. It's like 5:05. She said, we close at 5 p.m. My first thought is like, what daycare closes at 5 p.m.? Most people work till then. How do I have enough time to get my kids? And she said, well, you need to get here within the next 5 minutes. I have a tea time. She's playing golf and I need to get to the golf course. So I come racing around the corner and my 2 kids are sitting on the doorstep and she's in her car getting ready to leave. That's a whole nother story. But for me at that moment, I thought, this is not the kind of life I want to live. I don't want to live running crazy all over the place, trying to balance work and my family. And fast forward a couple years later, as my kids are getting bigger, we put on an event for our company, Master Networks. And what many people don't know about me because they see me on stages and they see me present is they don't and I own a networking organization. They think that I'm the super big extrovert, and I'm not. The reality is I like my private time. I like to recharge my batteries by myself. And so here I am about to get on stage. I'm nervous, and my wife comes backstage, and she's giving me like this pep talk, like you can do it. And I said, where are you guys gonna be sitting? And she said, we're gonna be in the front row. Well, from the time we had that conversation till I took the stage, they had to move seats, and they were in the back row. And I'll never forget this. I'm just like thinking to myself as I walk on stage, just don't make eye contact with them. I don't want I'm so focused on speaking and what I want to do. And as I walk on stage, people are clapping, music's playing, and I'm thinking, just look to the back of the room, and I do. And I catch the eye of my middle child, who at that point is about 9 years old. In fact, I have a picture of right after that I keep in here of this moment. And so what happened was I'm on stage and I catch the eye of my middle child. And he's grinning from ear to ear and he's giving me thumbs up from the back of the room. You have to imagine how fast this thought traveled through my mind, but in that moment, what I realized more than anything is, my kids are at an event I'm putting on for work. They got out of school. I had 3 rules. They had to dress up, show up, and take notes. And I'm watching them and I'm realizing at this moment how excited they are for me, but I'm realizing I don't have to go home that day and tell them about this event. They're living the event with me. They're there as part of the event. I'm doing life with my kids, not telling them about it. And in fact, this photo is, and they've aged a lot since, but this photo is my son and my daughter. This is the photo of right after that keynote, right after I got a chance to speak with them. They came up and they wanted to share their notes. So the little pages that they're showing are their notes that they took. And this is one of my favorite photos. Someone captured that and then sent it to me as a gift after the event, which I cherish, and I love that photo because kids grow up fast and you only get so much time with them. And I realize in that moment, I get to do life with them. I don't have to tell them about it and say, there's this business thing that I built that you don't really know about, right? Another opportunity that I had was we took our whole leadership team to a baseball game. And at that minor league baseball game, I was asked to throw out the first pitch. And this is a photo I keep on my shelf as well. When I took the mound and I looked up at the box that we had rented, my kids were there. And so the reason I share these stories, I think in business, what I wish I knew right from the beginning is you don't have to trade your business for your family or your family for your business. You can align them and you can do them together. And that's an important thing. Don't try to just say, hey, I'm gonna go put my head down and in 10 years from now, hopefully I'll have enough money to spend the time with the people that are important to me. It never works. It won't work because by the time you have the money to do that, you'll look up and you won't have the time. Having a successful business, and I didn't always have the leverage that I have today, meaning the staff and the team, so I did the best that I could. My advice to you is take the pressure off of yourself. There are times and seasons where you're gonna put a little bit more time into the business than maybe you want to spend it, you wanna be more at home. There's gonna be those times and seasons, and just understand that. My advice is just don't let the pendulum swing too hard to the other, one side or the other, because then you gotta really swing back hard to make it up. For example, if you're at home, 3 days a week and business isn't happening, you gotta swing back hard, business on the other side. What will happen is you will attract the kind of customers that respect that. I have partners and business people we do business with that understand in the fall, I coach football. I'm going into my 14th season of coaching football with my boys. I have 4 boys. And this is my last season. Going into this, my last season of being with my family, being able to coach football, because then they go into middle school. But I wouldn't trade that for anything. And if someone said, well, maybe you lost some customers because you were on the football field in the afternoon, so what? I can never get that opportunity back. I can always get more customers, but I can never get that opportunity back to coach their football and be with them. And they will always remember that. They will always remember their dad was there. And by the way, as a business owner, take pride in the fact if you're a mom who's there on the soccer field or at the recitals and you run a business. I mean, for the longest time, I was one of the only dads at the recitals and at the dance camps and at the football camps. And I took pride in that I was making that a priority, right? And then I could go do business. And one other thing, if you're gonna be there, be present. Don't be on your phone taking business calls while you're at, dance recitals. I see that happen a lot too. Don't trade it, right? Do life with the people that are important to you and do your business aside. You will attract the right kind of customers. And as you grow a team of employees and team members and partners, you will attract people who also value relationships and value the people that are important to them. Think about it this way. If you were hiring somebody you wanted to work in your business, wouldn't you want somebody who values relationships, who values things and people that are important to them? Of course you would. And the best way to do that is not to say, well, it's hard line 9 to 5, you never get time off. No, you want people who look after and take advantage of that opportunity to spend time with their families. Remember, if you like stuff like this, you like these kinds of trainings, like and subscribe to our channels where I show you more things that I learned that I wish I'd known when I started my business, and we'll share more of that on our next video.